Hello, everyone. This is Varoved Cholasin, Joe from AIT Extensions, and we meet again today with our online sessions that we normally organize every month. AIT Extensions organize at least 3 online sessions every month, and in different months we have different topics to share with you. And today is another day that we have the collaboration with the UNITA CIFAR Bangkok, which is one of the CIFAR networks at AIT to transfer knowledge to our audience and also to our participants. And it is a very good opportunity for me to be with you as the director of CIFAR Bangkok and also as the director of AIT Extension, as the senior director of AIT Extension, as executive director of AIT Extension. Being the management of AIT Extension, so I believe that it is very important that some of the technical issues and also some of the knowledge subject matters can be shared from my side so that you can benefit from my sessions. And as you know, today it is about GC, gender equalities and social inclusion. And this is one of the subjects that is the hot issues for the development agenda today, not only for the SDGs, not only for the climate change, but also for the kind of ultimate sustainabilities that we would like to integrate into our day-to-day operations of businesses and also to the projects that address the different development issues. So allow me to share my slides so that you can see my material. I have to say that this is actually my second session after I also presented the same in the Climate Action Forum in Bangkok. It was an in-person session, and also it was a hybrid in-person, more people coming to the sessions, and also we had a hybrid session with some few people, coming through online. So we thought that this is subject and also this experience can be something is very, very interesting for the researchers, for the practitioners, and for organizations. So that's why we decided to do this session again. And before I start the story, I would like to share with you that this presentation, this lesson that we learned, we are learning from the ongoing project implementation, which is funded by ADB. And this actually, the funding agencies, the finance of these projects is coming from the people from Japan through the Japan Fund for Prosperous and Resilient Asia Pacific, JFPR. So AIT is very thankful to ADB and also the Japanese people, including the JFPR, that giving opportunity to, serve as a big laboratory for the climate smart agriculture, so that we all together can learn from this intervention, from this introduction, from this innovative, multidisciplinary development projects. So we are very thankful to ADBs and JFPR, and also for CIFAR Bangkok, for UNITA to giving support to these, online sessions. I also would like to thank to professors and a team of consultants from various companies that involved in these projects. We have AIT professor from Water Engineering and Management of AIT, School of Engineering and Technology of AIT. We also Nippon Koi from Japan, who are also working on the technology part. They call that agricultural ecosystem, where we are using the technology for agriculture, and also team consulting and management, team engineering and management consulting, which is one of the consulting firm in Thailand. So the topics today, it is very, very important and also very up to date. Why I say it is up to date? Because yesterday I had a chance to join the International Forum, 11th International Forum of the UN Sustainable Development SDGs. And social inclusion becomes one of the three next agendas of the next years to go, of the next 6 years to go for achieving SDG. And believe it or not, social inclusions, gender equality is becoming even more concerned for the next move from yesterday. So today is the first day of the next 6 year. Is a 6 year? Is a 6 year that we are moving forward for 2030. So it is important, and may I use this project that we are implementing in the northern mountainous area in Thailand. The distance from the project area from here, from Bangkok, is about 700 kilometers. And we go up to the mountainous area, and this area we call Nan province. So in Thailand, we divide the administrative border in different, 77 provinces. So we are running this project in one of the highland provinces in Thailand. And the stories that lie up for myself to share with you is about the overview of the projects. Quick one that I give you information or overview of the project so you can see what is the scope of the project and also what are the components that projects that we are addressing. And second is about the gender and also the equality factors that we have to bring in and also take into consideration when we are looking at in terms of the spectrum of the social inclusions and also gender equalities and social dimensions, all of that. So this will be going to be integrated as a cross-cutting part of the projects. It's also provided as a guideline from the project TOR that we also have a cut across this project in all matters which related to gender equality and social inclusion in there. So we have to have it there so that, this project will be also socially sustainable in the future. And that's actually the thing that we want to do. Gender analysis, social inclusion, approach, and key indicator, key finding, and recommendation. So the project is located in one of the sub-districts of the Nan province. So this is the geographical location. You can see that on your left side, you can see that this is Nan province on the red color there. And this is the Nan province map, sorry. And in the red color there, you can see that this red color is the district, one of the districts of Nan province. So our project is not even in the district area. We just select one of the sub-district, okay? We select one of the sub-district of Nanoi districts as the experimental area, as a research area, so to say, as a project area. So our project area is under Bua Yai sub-district, or as many of you might know, Bua Yai sub-district, we call Bua Yai Tambon or Tambon Bua Yai in Thai, or, TAO, Tambon Administrative Organization, which is the smallest local government in Thailand. All right, so Bua Yai is in Nanoi district in the red color and in the Nan province in the bigger map that you can see. So the population of the projects area, you can see that the population is about 4,000 people, and male and female is a 1-to-1, which is mostly happen all the areas, all the population distributions in Thailand, and male to female normally almost 1-to-1. And actually this is the number that we are working on. And you might have heard that, when we are talking about the male and female and distributions, economic distribution, social distribution, contribution of male, female in Thailand, based on the number, we may say that we don't have any concerns about the gender equalities or gender distribution of, works and jobs and contribution to the family and so on and so forth. But what we have to consider in terms of the gender equality is more than just divisions of male and female as the differentiation of the these two. So we have to see how we are going to look at it. And I have some data presentation and also have some of the parameters where you can see how we are going to approach this in order to see the inclusiveness of the projects based on this. The households is about 1,000, 1,300 household, which is in sub-district is not big. And the area is about 130 square kilometers. So a little bit about the area. So this project is to reduce the agricultural areas, which is based on chemical agriculture, in order to minimize the impact on the environment. So minimize on the chemical agriculture to eco-friendly agriculture. So most of the area are cultivated under the chemical agriculture, like corns, rice, rubbers, and other field crops in the area. So the project is to address these issues in order to promote the sustainable agricultures. And it is an integration. It is an integration of many dimensions. The first dimension is about technology. You can see that. You can see this technologies part in the middle, in the box of the yellow. It is about, the organic farming. It is about the farming ecosystem, environmental friendly farmings. And it is also about the community organizations. It is about community organization. Here you can see that we also looking at the organizations, communities level, looking at the household level, and also looking at the individual level. And this project also, as I said, is having the dimension of the gender responsive technologies or climate smart agriculture. So it is saying that the comprehensiveness of these projects is having multi dimensions. The technologies is enablers. The outcome or impact is environmental friendly agricultures and also sustainabilities, including income generations and also a prosperity of the area as well. I mean, in terms of the value chain and supply chain at the end of the day. The gender responsive is a context that the projects team has to work on in order to see how we can integrate or consider the genders and social inclusion context into the project. So the components of genders and social inclusion can be part of the environmental enabler that enhance the sustainability of this project when we are looking at piece and piece and piece and piece of the social setting in the Northern Agricultural Society in Thailand. So actually this is the project designed for. So it is very complex. It is multidimensional, both technologies, farming, and social dimension. But at the end of the day, we use all of these enablers to enhance the sustainability of economics, the sustainabilities of the social, of the community, social factors, social setting of the community, and also the economics, environmental, and social, using all of these enablers, technologies, new farming practice, organic farmings, and also recognitions and accounting for all segments of the social settings to enhance sustainabilities. And this is why we are explaining these projects in terms of the social inclusion, how we are going to make this going to be socially inclusive. All right, so it is very nice. It is very complicated. It is very complex, but it is close to the reality when we are going to look at the settings of the agricultural society in the Northern Thailand. All right, so you can see that we are putting everything into, helping farmer to be resilient to the climate change. We are also making more sustainable agriculture so that this supply chain and value chain can be also addressed, so that they are making sure that at the end of the day, after they do a good job on the technologies, on everything, then they get a good attractive income for them to live in the society. And at the same time, they should also help the society to learn on how to reduce greenhouse gas, how to reduce carbon emissions, and also how to do a circular. We go to the extent of the circular economy in agricultural farming system in northern Thailand. So from the gender perspective and gender responsive, we want to really making alignment of the priority areas of smart agriculture, which is very technological oriented and also based on the digital technologies, how we would, integrate this into the social settings, and gender equality and social inclusion is part of that. So how we are going to integrate this part into the digital transformation of agriculture in Thailand. And this has been doing a lot at the national policies, so we don't need to worry about the national policies on the gender equality and social inclusion. We have to do something at the field level. We have no problem of awareness of the people of this equally distribution of the benefit from economics, environment, and also labors on the gender perspective of this thing. But how we are going to make it happening at the field level, and so that the sustainabilities can be enhanced. The responsive on gender responsive is another one, is about is a learning process. So this project is a project that looking for the scalability. So meaning that once the project have collected enough of the lessons for the Northern Highland agriculture in Thailand, we are expecting, or ADB expecting, and also the Japan Fund for Prosperous Resilient Asia Pacific is looking at how we would replicate these models to other areas in Thailand, so that the best practice of this project can be also expanded in other highlands area. We have another 7 provinces in the highland area, and we can also apply this and replicate this, scale up this one into other areas, including socially, socially important dimension of the technologies and climate smart agriculture there. So actually, this is the purpose of that. And you can see that the expectation is nothing rocket science. We just want to learn from how we would integrate, how we would enhance, how we would learn from today, so that next days we are stronger in doing so. All right, so ambitious is under control, doability is under control, realistic is under control. So we are open for learning, and then when we expand it, we are more confident on that one. So actually, this is an approach. That's why this is a cross-cutting issue where we are open a space for learning for every stakeholders in the projects, and also policymakers. The policymaker also have to recognize or realize that how they can translate the policies at the national level into the practicality, where the people who are the local stakeholder can really carry on by themselves, including, integration into the local planning mechanism of this one. For example, gender budgeting, gender distributions, everything is all about the social inclusion and gender equality. The policies of ADB, so you can see that the GC, the gender equalities and social inclusion, is covering more than 2 genders. Is beyond that. And when it goes to the social inclusions, you can even identify in more different piece of social segments. Say, for example, in the GC's ADB's recommendation, the social inclusions can address the people with disabilities. Social inclusions can also address the aging society, elderly people. Social inclusion can also address vulnerable groups. Social inclusion can also address migrants and resettlers. So these are the segments that we need to identify when we are going to look at. Actually, we means, what the world is recognizing today about social inclusion. So we have to break down these into segments, and we need to find out the information and facts about this segment and see how they really share the contribution to the society. And these contributions may be in terms of the economic contribution, if they can do so, or in terms of the social contribution, if they can do so, social relationship, household, family relationship, and these are the social values that we can add value to the projects and also to the intervention. So that's why breaking down these into different segments is very important. And for us, when we are doing a project, we cannot just looking at the social settings as one. It is a combination of so many subset of the social component where we have to break down and try to understand what is the reality of those segments, because every segment can contribute, uplift the value of the project value, for example. So that is the reasons that why we are going to pay attention to the social inclusion. So this is what I said, that you can also go and refer to the ADB GC guideline. You can see a kind of a spectrum. You can see the framework of the social inclusions. They also go for the geographical location. They also go for the income status and so on and so forth. So the income status, for example, we may not collect the data of the income status from the head of the family only, but we also have to collect the income status of perhaps the second person in the family who is female, or maybe also have a contribution of the laborers to the family, maybe also the children, the family member, and also contribute to the farm economic also. So these have also to be able to identify what really every segment of the projects for us to identify and also to experiment and also to determine the reality of the contributions of the different social segments. So this framework is quite useful from my point of view, because we don't forget what we have to consider, and also it is macro level enough for us to really take into consideration. And taking into consideration with this framework, it helps us to be able to save time to identify the social segment and dimensions to go for the social inclusion. So the gender role and responsibility. So we also kind of collect information. For example, this is information is coming from the agricultural sector that's studied by FAO. So we might looking at the contributions and job divisions of the male and female family members on job divisions, and also the contribution to the economy. So we can break down into women control income of the family, a relative amount of the time which is benefit realize the potential for women to benefit from the increased productivity, female and youth labor availability, and female access to the control land. So these are the different parameters where we want to determine the social inclusion and also gender contributions. And you can see that, say for example, the youth laborers is very much contribute to the society and also to the farm family as well in our culture. So these may be also taken into consideration, regardless of the rule and regulation of the using the family member as the laborers in the farm labor. So the practical of that is very important for us to consider. And if it is very critical, if it is significantly contribute to the projects, we need to get information to reconfirm that these things are really important to study there. So gender indicators, we are going to look at some example when it is becoming to the project that are related to the technology, especially for the climate smart agriculture, CSA, over there, so that we can see that how we are going to break down the gender indicators into our our studies or our research into the projects. So for example, gender indicators could be gender responsive technology application under CSA approach. That is one of the objectives that we can also set, or one of the research questions that we can set in the project as well. What is the gender responsive approach which is happening to the project that we are implementing? Number two, farmers who have access and use, the devices for weather, for climate information service, and also price information database, and so on and so forth. So these are the example of the indicators that we can use for the integration of the gender equality into that. So with this, when we went to the field, we also asked them about the question about the climate change and also the way that they practice using the appropriate technologies today, and also comparing of if they have to use the digital technology in the future. So what actually their role and responsibility and also contribution to the success story of that is also taking into consideration. Change in the crop yield per hectare and per year as a result of CSA intervention. So these one dimension of the productivities of the crops. At the same time, is maybe also having a matrix of who contribute to that change of the productivity, for example. So if we have enough data, if we have enough breakdown data, if we have comprehensive data from different settings in the family and the household, then we'll be able to understand better the situation of the economic distributions and the key players of that technologies that we are applying for agriculture, and that will help to actually to develop a policy solution for that. In Thai society, we are saying that the women in the family, in the farm family, always the one who keep the money and manage the money in the family, and that is one of the key role of the women, and how that contribute to the economic advancement of the families. We can also identify the key factor based on that. So these are all related, and we have to keep into consideration. So the surveys tools has to be very comprehensive. It cannot be no longer generic. It has to be very purposeful in order to break down a settings in the communities, so that we can see the contributions of the project factors in different segments of the household, of the communities, and of the projects area. So the more we go deep into identification of differentiation of the social contributions, age group, income group, education level, male and female, that will help us to get more data to understand the contribution. And further data collection can help us also to analyze what is the impact of the gender equalities and also the social inclusion that we are trying to do there. So in short, a bit more work has to be done when we have to decide the survey, and also we have to decide the tools. But taking advantage of that, we can also understand more better situation in order to do the policy interventions and policy decision making in order to go for the next replication or the next solution. So that is the gender analysis that we are trying to do. And if we are looking at the the data that related to the economic situation of the household, you can see that you might in the old days, you may just ask to collect data from the head of the household. And then actually you perhaps get the average number of the average income and average expenditures of the farm's household. But if we decide the survey in order to really understand the situation, we might need also to break down the segment of the tools that allow you to understand more the setting and society, so that we are hoping that with better understanding of the small factors that might give you a kind of a realistic answers of what the solution could be. The more broad maybe is can save time and save money and save energy but you may just looking at as a very broad based kind of picture of that setting, but the in-depth understanding with the data backup that may be helping you to really go for the more fine solution where you can help the society to be more sustainable. Who knows that the children who are studying in the secondary school can also contribute to the farm labor, and how much he can contribute. What is the productivity that contribute from him? Or maybe he or she, as a student, he or she may be more oriented to the technologies that he is using faster by using mobile phone and this and this and this thing. Maybe because of that, although they are young, but they really contribute to data reading and using technology for farming and for their family. So it is because of that. That's why we cannot leave them behind into the consideration. All right. So this is also another a way that we are going to look at, different divisions of works and so on and so forth, so that we can see what are the role that they are playing there. And, from the study, we can see that every result for finding from the questionnaires, the women have even more role to contribute. For example, maybe a man family member just have a single jobs or just 2 jobs in order to contribute to economy, but also women. She goes to the farm, she come back, she cook, she look after the children grow and go for education, bring back the income to the family. She also give a warning to the climate and looking after the climate, look at the television and get news and marketing information for that. Nobody knows. Maybe women sitting in front of the television and get more news and telling the family, let prepare for the storm who is coming and destroy our crops. And that is also contribution to the weather news and weather information from the women. So going deep there, it looks like that economic contributions or social contribution, we need to give more assumption on that, or question, a research question of that. Whether other questions about that can be also make us to understand better, so that the solution can also more comprehensive. So actually this is the cream of the idea of that. It is not that we must do because we have to collect data for the sake of the collect data, but we must do in order to understand the detail of how the social setting is working to contribute to sustainability. I think that's what it means. And it is very good. I mean, it's very good in the sense that it is thorough. It is thorough before making decision. I think that is the message that the GC is all about. Same thing, ranking, ranking, and also opinion, perceptions differ from one gender to another, and maybe age group to another. So it is allow us as the practical researcher to really have more informations to analyze. We don't have one single dimension. We have more dimensions that we can really analyze data, which hopefully is go to the reality of the settings of the society or community. So the practice of having more comprehensive survey forms, it may not be long, but it's comprehensive, it's cover, it's thorough, it's really helping us to really filling many gaps. And those gaps that we fill could be telling better pictures of how we would address the policy solution. Maybe we have been kind of ignore this. That's why many solutions doesn't work in many occasions. Or it means that we just think that things just one fit all. That's why we don't really customize into different area where we also customize our tool into the social setting. Actually, that is the mind map or the mindset that we have when we run the project. So it's like that ourselves, that maybe how we are looking at in terms of how we would make that project, more comprehensive and more thorough, meaning that no need anybody to tell us, but we really have that mindset of making it very, very detailed so that we understanding better. That's the whole story about this. I talk about ranking, and yes, maybe from my point of view, when we did the research in the past 20 years, we take it for granted of this ranking. We average the ranking. You know, we got ranking from male and female, and then we average. We never thought of averaging the ranking from the female groups, male groups, young female groups, young male groups, and try to make sense of that information and try to see what meaning of that information. So it's not the additional works that we have to do, but a kind of analytics that we are going to play with, you know, internal data in front of us. So from this part, you know, what I can see is that a bit of analytics or curiosity is there. So in this sense, the project team, the researcher team should have a lot of questions from the data setting, and then have more curiosities. What does it mean? How we know more about that? How to use that data, for example. So it's not always additional work, but it's always additional questioning to the things that appear to us. That is important. I think that is important for making sense of the data. On and all, you know, this social inclusion is important, and I want to emphasize on the pictures on your right hand. So at the end of the day, what we have to have a platform to integrate all of this. We have to promote gender equality. Of course, we want to have SDG number 5. What is the platform that we use? We are looking at the livelihood dimensions there in the middle of yellow one. But the platform that we are using in this project, that we are trying to create the ecosystem of the smart agriculture, which is not ignoring the social setting, is not ignoring gender equalities, is not ignoring, you know, the communities and social contributions. Everything is put into the system where everybody is accountable to make these settings of technologies, you know, to produce data, to use data, and to produce crop, and also make a handsome income from that crop. So it's not just the ideal that we go into the projects and we just leave that project as the a museums or statue, but this project is enhanced by the value chains also. So you have to produce something from AI, digital, that allow you to make a net gains that you are happy at the end of the day. So doing all of this, inclusions, gender equality, so on and so forth, we cannot relieve the reality that people livelihood, economic income of the family is important for them to move on. So how we can enhance? We have to put this into the ecosystem as a comprehensive as we can, and integrate with technologies and social inclusion. That is the things that you might look into how you would approach the policy recommendations or policy solution. Is not easy. It's more complex, but more comprehensive, but it is close to the reality. So this is, again, you know, a simple one where we can see the role, the attentions of the women family members are even, you know better when we ask for participation. You know, the women members, they are coming first. 50%, 70% of them, they are coming faster than the male family members in this project, because maybe the male family member, they are very busy in the construction sites or the farm, but female is taking the leadership over there. And actually, when we visit them, you know, they are actually explaining us how the organic agriculture and also innovation agriculture is working in the project area, right? We also looking at the supply chain, you know, not only from the technology point of view, but also after they produce bamboo, what next for the bamboo? And what next for the bamboo that they can make more money? So from the raw bamboo to the chopsticks, for example, and also they have to see these chopsticks from bamboo, where are the demand for this value chain that they have produced. So all the dimensions that inclusiveness is there, and that needs enabler like gender equality, social inclusion, and all AI and so on and so forth into that one. And the survival of the economic sustainability is the supply chain in this sense. How we can make use of a supply chain, we have to try our best in order to align everything that we are studying into something that go to the realities of the economic sustainability, which is the supply chain, and net profit is better than before. That's how it is going to work. And of course, the social dimension is part of that. Engagement is very important. So we do a lot of engagement. We have to do, publication. We have to do knowledge products. We have to do training. We have to do workshop, webinar, and also keep follow up with the project area. Also keep engaging the champions of the project site. So when it's go to the implementations, we need to find the champions of the project implementation, and we have to work with this champions group all the time. And we have to admit that, on the first day you may get 100 of champions, on the second phase you may get 60 of champions left, and then you get 30 of champions. At the end of the day, you get 20 champions left, and then you stick to 20 and make you go along with your project until the end. So you will never success in 100%, but 20% is acceptable, and they are champions who can really replicate your ideas and also transfer the knowledge to other farmers outside the district, outside the province, and actually achieving more with less, with 20% of the champions is good enough in order to replication. So we have to find the way how we are going to calculate the impact of that 20% of champion who can really contribute 80% of the project achievement, for example. So the key finding, the technologies, it needs a lot of curiosities to influence the decision makings. The curiosities of the project team, curiosity of the research questions along the line is allow you to really go into the comprehensive information and also data analysis. So the analytics abilities of the team should be start with a lot of curiosity, and this curiosity should be in the project objective or in the project scope, so that you will not miss the point of the project purpose and also project aims and project goals, but you are allowed to go into different components and minor components of the things, and then you can raise curiosity for, answering these right solutions. Household expenditures record mostly by women. In Nan province in Thailand, we found that the important enablers of social economic contribution of women is the influence of women in the household to use the expenditure logbook. And many of you might know that in Thailand we have an expenditure logbook which is recorded in a household, and mostly the female family member is looking after that logbook, and she knows everything about the daily expenditures of the household, and she knows how the budgeting of the family should be for the next month and after month and after month. So in Thailand and in this project, we found that the tools in order to enhance the gender contributions and also the job division and also economic contribution is enhanced. One of the enhancement tools is the expenditure record and remembering information bank that the female family members is knowing about how we are expending, what we are spending for the family every day, every week, and every month. And that used for planning of the family. The last bullet is about the less resourceful area, low profitability could create the unsecure situation of the adoption of the technology. So economic factors is always influence to the adoption of technologies all the time. So as we know in the past that, when they have less income, when they have less net profit, the attractions of changing, of using technology or farming practice is always changing. And this project also confirmed that if they are not succeed in the value chain of the agricultural price and markets and product and these things, they are not willing to listen even using of this technology. The things would work when they can see the net profit is significant increase after they use technology. So it means that they don't pay attention of how sophisticated technology look, but they will ask you question, is this technology make money for them or not? The key, the way forward. So we need to look at different segments of the societies, breaking down and making the project team understand how important it is to address economic contribution to projects return. Number two, values and cultural setting. We need to look at this value and cultural setting so that we can customize our tool into the tools that it can be used for the research and for the study. So customization is important. Thailand is a lucky country in one of the sense that we have the basics, a kind of a basic platform to jump to the sustainability, because we have the concept of the sufficient economy for 30 years, for 3 decades. So the now sufficiency economy is very familiar to every farmers in Thailand. So that for them to really start to understand sustainable agriculture, we can leverage from their understanding and their practice in the sufficiency economy. So anything that you feel that the previous practice is also meaningful to them and is relevant to the sustainable one, feel free to use that as a platform so that they can use as a springboard to go for awareness, to go for understanding, to go for the policy solution that people can take it very easily. And last but not the least, that factor, the livelihood sustainability is very important. So when you are setting of these, tools and data collection, we need to set different dimensions. And of course, one dimension is the livelihood sustainability, which have 5 sub-dimensions: physical dimension, economic dimension, social dimensions, and so on and so forth. And that dimension can help you to create the tools in order to get data. At the same time, you cut across these dimensions, different dimensions, into the gender equalities and social inclusion and adding into the data collection. So you are secure by all data that you can understand the reality where you are expecting that the solution that you are going to recommend is something reflecting the realities of the society. Thank you for your attention. Any questions? Oh, so many questions. The host, and it is very good finding. I would like to ask that PPT after, yes, PPT can be given. What exactly does men were able to feel change in temperature or frequent? Yes, so actually in terms of the temperature change and also the rainfall intensity and so on and so forth, which is having perception on feeling of men and female, it can be different from male and female. But in order to overcome this, to explore this understanding, we develop a set of very comprehensive questioning sets, which is going to understand their perceptions on climate change, including the heat, temperatures, rainfall, before season, after season, right to the season. So is it very comprehensive and it is very thorough that the answer that you get from them is really tell them the whole area perception of the climate change. And after you get this whole area of the perception of the climate change in different parameters, then you can map this perception to the vulnerability assessment result. I mean the temperature mapping, the rainfall mapping, and you can map this perception, the social perception, to the climate change with in the stage of the climate change vulnerabilities assessment. All right. Of course, they are differ in terms of the perception, but we can see how the difference between women group and male group. I don't remember the result of this survey, so I cannot answer that one, but actually the tool that we use is really allow us to triangulate or adding on into the vulnerability assessment. I would like to follow up on the question regarding the change in temperature. Okay, so the same question. What exactly does mean they're able to feel change? Okay, same question. I just have one question. As they have many criteria to those that specific districts, why this area only? Okay, so why this area only? So I don't know why this area only, because actually this area, our team did not have any decision on the area selection. The area selection has been decided by the Department of Agriculture of the Thai government and also the ADB. So during the project appraisal, they have selected the area and put this area into the TOR, and then we take this TOR and develop a proposal, and then we run the projects. So we actually have no idea of how the area has been selected, but there can be also a lot of consideration when ADB has been doing the project appraisal. Now, if you ask me, do you feel that at this point this area is relevant to the project's design or not? I would say yes, it's very much relevant to the project design, although there are a lot of difficulties and challenges, but it is an area that represents the challenges of the climate change, the standard of the different social settings and groups, and also the practice in agriculture. Anything else? May I know how do you classify the different access mentioned? Can they be all considered productive resource? Thank you. May I know how do we classify the different access that mentioned? Can they be okay? So if you mean this by what is the window in order to give the introduction of the smart agriculture? I think we have the window. We take the advantage of the community and local planning practice, which is already as part of the legislative in Thailand. So having that, we can see this as the entry point where we can introduce the smart agriculture into the local planning mechanism, which is already legislation in Thai local administration. So with that, we think that the communities of the sub-district would embrace this and consider this into their regular planning process, 1 year planning process, 3 year planning process, 5 year trend planning process with the provincial plan, and so on and so forth. So the entry point of these interventions have the window, and the window is the planning mechanisms at the local level under the legislation, where the local community has to commit integration. That is the entry point. Yes? Would be great if we could have any criteria to choose that specific district. Okay, fine. Yeah, I mean that is fine with criteria. So I think for the criteria to select the location for the project site, I think you need to do in the stage of the appraisal, and you also need to consult with the policymakers. You need to consult with the financier. You have to consult with different stakeholders as well. But for us, we don't need to go into that process, because we just receive this and then we just go into that, and then we can see that it is really relevant and good reasons to select the province. Yes. Does the local government administration help the local community term of the regulatory feeding awareness? We hope so. We hope so. We hope so in a sense that we need to create buy-in of the Tambon administration. We need to create buy-in, and day one to start is very important. And once we start from day one with the stakeholder relation and relationship building, we should not stop. And if we stop, then we go back to square one. So the project implementations, engagement of the local stakeholders is very important. Public relation, information dissemination is very important. And also trying to engage them throughout the project is very important. So your question is very relevant, that, how we are making this into the routines of the local government jobs. we should do something that we are not giving something that very strange to them, but something that they can easily integrate into their routines of agricultural planning, community development plannings, education planning, and health planning. So how we are going to integrate that? Because if we give them the shock, they will resist. So we try to really make a smooth integration, and the smooth integration is to create relationship for at least 1,200 days with them and engage them, and even don't miss any day. Anything else we could I think that's all. So I hope that these presentations, this sharing is give you some good information for you to expand your thought, and also for you to really frame your research and your project's design. And believe it or not, this is the day number 2 that the UN give the concern as a social inclusion. So you are not missing the bus. And, you are not missing the bus, meaning that you are doing something which is already, maybe 10 steps ahead of anything that they are going to do in the future to address these SDGs. So start thinking about the inclusiveness, integrations, comprehensiveness, and the ecosystem that you are doing. Yesterday, when I joined the meeting, I hear another thing that related to the integration is important. Working in a silo department of different segment and sector of the organization will not work and will not support this sustainability. So you find a way to create a platform that allow the ecosystem to work based on different subsystems in there, and that address at least the approach that you are using for your research, the approach you are using for your project will be something that people will give value to. So thank you very much for your attention, and we are looking forward again to meet you. Tomorrow we have another webinar on online learning technologies. If anybody is interested in that, you can register, you can go to the website, you can go to the Facebook of AIT Extension. We have the speaker from Chulalongkorn University, the education technologists who are very well known around the world. We'll be speaking to you what is the advance of the online education technologies that we can use in our day-to-day basis. So for this today, thanks again, and thanks for the audience, and thanks for organizers and keeping the time with me, and thank you so much. Looking forward to see you again. Bye-bye for now.